Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Coach Speak. I am Joe Higgins. With me today is Nelsonville-York head football coach of the varsity team, Rusty Richards. Coach, 29-28 last week here against Waterford at Boston Field. I want to get right into it with the guts that you showed to call for that two-point conversion off the fake extra point after scoring that last touchdown. Got to know what went into that decision.
As soon as they scored, I went and told our four kids that need to be involved in that. Our center, Caleb Morris, Levi Snedden, so he don't grab that ball on the snap. Mm-hmm. And then Grant and Alec, and told them, we're going to go score, and we are going for two. So never changed my mind the whole series, and even said we're going to do it. And all I was watching for is to make sure they lined up in the same defense they had been in the previous three kicks and all the films. And as soon as I seen the two kids on the outside walk up and dig their feet in, because I was going to take off running and get a timeout if they would have came out and, like, say, a traditional defense. But I didn't see a corner. I didn't see a safety. There was nobody responsible for Alec the way they were lined up. So I just said, I hope we get the snap, and I hope Grant makes the throw, because I'm pretty confident my senior is going to make that catch. So how good would I have slept if we didn't get it? I don't know. But, it was one of these things. I didn't really want to go to overtime. Just anything can happen in overtime. And I just do film study, and I knew it was going to be there, and trusted my kids to make the play. And they all four of those guys did exactly what they needed to do, and the other seven didn't have an idea what we were doing. So,
they did afterwards. But where does that conviction come from to already know you're going to go for that too? Just
like I said, film study. Noticed it on film this year. We had all four of their films, and then so I went back and watched last year's film when we scored. And I'm like, they come, and there's nobody responsible for your wing back or your tight end and that. So we just, usually when we fake it, we send both out, but we thought, just don't mess it up. So, but Alec Thompson, great throw by Grant, great snap, but Alec Thompson sold it. He, everybody else moved. He did not come out of his crouch. And as soon as those two outside guys got even with him, he took off, and it was too late for anybody to make any recovery. So if he takes off a little earlier, maybe one of them grab him, maybe they put their foot in the ground, try to reverse. But great patience, and again, he's done that. It was the same play we were in 2 years with Bel Air, and Landon Inman hit him. So I had confidence that he knew what he was doing. And like I said, it's just one of those things that sometimes you look good and sometimes you don't. But I was willing to roll the dice, and same way with like the kick at the end, we didn't rush.
That's what
I just did not want to take a chance, because I knew the kid. But I'm thinking high school kicker. If he makes it, we're just gonna go shake their hand and tell him, you know what, you guys you wanted it, you needed it, you made it, and I've never seen a kid kick a 51-yarder in high school.
Neither did I. So
but he had it. He missed it by about a foot and a half.
What went into that strategy? So they get a pretty good chunk of yards there on their kickoff return, and then they get a play. What went into your defensive strategy? Under a minute to go, you've got that lead now. What were you guys preaching in the huddles or beforehand about trying to give Waterford a stop?
Keep the ball in front of you and keep the ball in bounds. That way they got to burn their timeouts or the clock runs. And we didn't do a good job. We had 3rd and 22. We just watched the film with the kids and said, guys, why are we at 4 yards? Our linebackers were at 4 yards. We got to know the situation. We should be widened out. We should be backed up. You know what? If we want to give them 10 or 12, they're still at their 45-yard line, and they ain't going to kick it then. But we gave them a 29-yard gain, which got them down there, and then they were able to then run that quarterback draw, and they had one timeout. But if we tackle them anywhere in bounds, any of those possessions, now they're just having to throw the Hail Mary up, and they don't have time to do all that. So we just didn't do a very good job on that one play to let them get down there. So good play by their quarterback, receiver. And
As it was, they're going to try this 51-yarder. You call the timeout, make them think about it a little bit more. What were you thinking about when you call that timeout, and then actually when you see that ball leave his foot?
Oh man, when he first hit it, you could hear the thud through the stadium, and I just went, well, I'm gonna go shake their hand and tell him what a kick, buddy. And I'd have probably went straight to that kicker and told him, But I looked back up. I took another step. I looked up, and I just there's some spin on that. And then I just kept looking there. We got a chance. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as I seen Holden, I thought it was left, and I seen Holden doing no good. And then because he beat the officials to doing it, and he was down there standing on the goal line, watching it as good as anybody. He had a great view of it. So, we snuck one out and didn't play particularly the best. But you know what? Hats off to Waterford. Hayden Jones, man, that kid's a football player. And so he had over 200 yards rushing on us, and he's back again next year, so hopefully we can do a little better with him next year. But man, they got a good team. I look for them to go 8-2, And I look for them to make a nice run in Division 7 in their region.
Start the game out, you put offense, your offense got points on the board first. Then they come back 21 unanswered. What was your message to the team at halftime?
All the assistant coaches and stuff went in and talked to our kids before I did. I said, I told them, I said, hey, man, go get them woke up, go tear into them a little bit. I'll come back in at the end and we'll build them back up. But even when they were in there getting after them a little bit, trying to motivate them, it was more about, we're coming back and winning this game. We're not done. We're not quitters. So, and then like I said, and I basically came in and gave sort of the same kind of message. I got after them a little bit and just said, hey, but we can't do nothing about it now, so let's go fix it. It's our home field. Let's go take care of business in the second half. And, still punted the ball on the first series. And what a play by Austin Gautier, and it just sparked us. And like I said, and Kim Sullivan come up and said, Coach, I can run. So, they were packing the box, so we went to a couple of different spread formations, and we got them to widen back out just to run the ball a little bit more. So that was the biggest shift, Yeah,
I wanted to ask about that because, in the second half you score twice, take the lead, Waterford comes down, or to tie it up, Waterford comes down and takes the lead again, then that would led to your game-time touchdown. But one of the things is that we know what we're going to get out of Gautier on the ground and what you're going to see from Cunningham and now Stone. But Sullivan seemed to be a spark there with the ground game, and that was him coming to you and saying, "Hey, I can do this."
Yeah, he said, "Keep giving it to me." So, and it just gave us better numbers. Anytime your quarterback runs, you got another blocker because now Austin's blocking for him also, or whoever our tailback is. So we went to some 4 wide sets. That sparked us there in the third quarter, and he had some big runs on the last drive. But I think the biggest thing when we got in that last drive, because the series before we took a shot. Even though we didn't hit Alec on that one down on the end zone, they put that safety back real quick and put him back in the middle of the field. They had him up playing linebacker. Yeah. So they just had more in the box than we could block. And, that's probably being stubborn a little too long, running the ball too much. But, that was our adjustment. And then once we did, Cam got going, made some big throws. Alec had a great catch over in the corner of the end zone. And, and then I said it comes down to the 2-point conversion. And this time we looked smart.
You're on the road at Meigs this week, trying to move to 6-0 on the season. What are you seeing from the Marauders on tape that you guys are dealing with this week?
It starts off with their quarterback, the Cleveland boy. I think it's the final one for a while anyway, at least in that family. Maybe grandkids are coming out of there. But, man, he can throw it. I think he's got about 1,100 yards in 5 games. They got speed. They got a lot of speed. They're not as big up front as they've been in the past because normally you play them as like a small college offensive line. They've struggled a little bit on defense this year. They've got 56 points a couple of different times. But definitely their strength is throwing the ball. They throw the ball a lot laterally. And so we got to be out there. We got to tackle well. So it's, even though it's just a different game, they've done a lot of spot passes, bubbles. Can't let them behind us when they do take a shot deep. Yeah. And then just got to come up and tackle. And keep them sideways passes at a 1 or 2 gain, and you can't give up 20 yards on a sideways pass. So, but they got speed. I mean, it concerns us a little bit.
Okay. Well, an instant classic against Waterford. Congratulations on the victory, and best of luck going 6-0 this week.
Yep, thank you. Go 1-0.
Thank you, Coach Rusty Richardson. Tri-County Career Center helps students build real skills for real careers. High school juniors and seniors can jumpstart their futures with hands-on training in healthcare, construction, media, and more. Visit tricounty.cc today. Welcome back to Coach Speak. I'm now joined by Coach Wayne Dicken of the Nelsonville-York volleyball team. Coach, you had Waterford, River Valley, and then Logan. Lost a tough 5-set match to the Wildcats. Took down the Raiders 3-1 and fell to Logan on Saturday. What went right? What could have been improved from this past week?
I started off on a sour note going down to Waterford and losing. I mean, that's a tough place to play. It's a long bus ride down. I really felt like talent-wise we probably should have taken that one. I was hoping not to have to go 5 sets in it. We had the momentum at times, and unfortunately we just were unable to keep the momentum. And that's kind of been what's happened to us all season. We get the momentum a lot of times, and we have a hard time keeping it. So that's what we've been really focused on, is just staying super energetic in practices now, and in hopefully from here on out in the games. And hopefully it'll translate into some more wins for us.
I've seen some of that, or like maybe when you're kind of getting out of rhythm where we lose communication.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I see from that. Has it been a focal point for
Yeah,
you?
for sure. This is a very quiet group. I mean, there's a couple of them that'll be talkative on the floor, but in volleyball, you have to over communicate on everything because I mean, it's such a fast paced game when you're really moving it well. So we really have been working on our communication all year. A lot of times when things go sour for us, it's a breakdown in communication. So hopefully, we continue to get better at that leading into this last part of the season and going into tournaments.
So at this point in the season, are you where you thought you'd be with this team and individually as far as development?
Yeah, I think at times we are. At times I feel like we have made the strides we need to, and then there are times where I feel like maybe we are behind where we need to be. I thought probably a 12, 13, 14 win team. I thought this season. And right now we're at 9-7. So with 6 games to go, so we have potential to still do that. We have some tough league games back and are still to go, but I think this team has the potential to still reach our goals this season. We're still in the league hunt. With Alexander getting upset last week by Vinton County, so we kind of control our own destiny as far as the league title goes. So hopefully we come out to Alexander tomorrow night and take control of where we need to be.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Who stood out for you in terms of their performance this past week?
I think Maddie Pidcock has really been stepping up for us. She's taken a lot of responsibility onto her shoulders. She's playing all the way around, and she's really been hitting the ball well for us. Morgan Lehman has made a big switch to the middle for us. We were running a 6-2 where she was setting when she was in the back row, and she was playing the right side when she was up front. But with her blocking abilities and her movement on the net, we moved her to the middle at these last few games, and she's really produced well for us defensively. She's starting to gain some confidence in there. She's really aggressive with her blocking. So I've been really happy with Morgan Lehman's progression in the middle. And then we moved Kat Dixon to the outside, who's been playing well too. But yeah, Morgan Lehman seems to be really coming into her own there in the middle.
Excellent. This week, as you said, you got Alexander on Tuesday. You got Vinton County on Thursday. Alexander got you here. You got to try and get them down there. The Spartans, what are you looking at for potentially that win to keep you in that league hunt?
Yeah, we're going to have to play really well at Alexander to get a win, and we're capable of doing it. They beat us 3-1 on our home floor earlier this season, very early in the season. I'm sure both teams have gotten better.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have to play very well to beat them on their home floor. The Alley's a tough place to play at Alexander. They have a very well-coached team with some really nice players. But, our girls are hungry. They really, we set some goals last week in practice, and top of the list was beating Alexander and beating Athens, And if we can do that and take care of our other league games, we're right there for a league championship again. So, it starts tomorrow it's really, really tough task against Alexander. But, I think our girls are really up for it.
And then you got Vinton County on Thursday, which I think you swept them here.
Yeah.
But playing them down there, and they just come off that big win.
Yeah, Vinton County's been playing a lot better this season. They upset Alexander last week at Vinton County, and then they were in a tournament on Saturday at Jackson versus Jackson, Wilson, and Oak Hill, and they won that tournament. So they're playing some really good volleyball right now. So it's definitely not, we're not expecting to go down there and have them lay down for us because they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. Another really well-coached team, and she's going to have them ready for us for sure when we get down.
So I know we're thinking about league implications right now, but right around the corner are our postseasons. You're getting ready for your seedings. How do you feel like your team's positioned for playoffs?
I look at anybody in our district. We're Division 6, and I look at anybody in the Southeast District in Division 6, and I feel like we can play with anybody. There's South Webster, there's Southeastern, Waterford, Federal Hocking, Belpre. I mean, there's a lot of teams right there that I feel like Fairfield and some teams on the western part of the district that are very solid. But I feel like we can compete with any of them. I think we'll probably be middle of the pack as far as seeding goes. I think there's a lot of teams with similar records. I'm hoping that, the tradition of our program kind of puts us more, leans us more towards the top of the bracket. But, I think we're going to have to be prepared for anybody because I think it's a lot of really evenly matched teams in Division 6. So, we're confident. We think we're more than capable to win another district championship in Division 6. So, hopefully we keep getting better and prove that to be true.
Okay. In the meantime, we got Alexander and Vinton County this week. Best of luck with both of those. We'll check in with you next week.
All right, thank you.
My name's Loge, and I'm owner of Pidcock Glass in Nelsonville, Ohio. If your home is in need of 1, 2, or even up to 12 vinyl replacement windows, Pidcock Glass can help. Please call Pidcock Glass at 740-753-4527.
All right, welcome back to Coach Speak. I'm Joe Higgins, and with me is Collin Yinger, coach of the cross-country team. And let's just get into it with bring me up to speed on your race this past week.
So we actually raced twice this past week. We raced at Pidcock on Wednesday and then Rio Grande on Saturday. The Pidcock race was junior high, all of junior high and high school, and it went pretty well. Stevie Blair ended up 18:27, so 1 second off the school record.
Oh.
So he was pretty frustrated, but he ran a good race. Pretty competitive, and then some of the other high school boys, Noah Van Dyke finally got under 20 minutes and got his fastest time.
Nice.
And ran a great race. And then it was a really fast, a lot of the best teams in our area. We ended up 8th out of 9th as a boys team, but again, there's about 15 schools running, so the way I look at it, we beat 7 teams. Some of those schools still have 5 runners. And then the junior high girls did really well. I think all 3 of them got their PRs this weekend, and same with the junior high boys at Pidcock. So that was a good race. And then Rio Grande was 300 boys. It was high school boys that we went, 300 of them. And Raiden Boney and Colin McKinney both ran great races and got their PR. And Stevie didn't feel the best. We took the back roads down to Rio Grande, the van, and he got sick.
I understand.
He didn't feel great. But we ended up doing pretty well. I mean, there was 33 teams. We ended up 26. I think we could have been maybe a few spots ahead, but still a good race. And that's where we'll run our district in about a month. So it's good to see the course and kind of see what it's going to be like, and it's super fast course, so I'll be interested to see in a month when we're even a little bit faster.
Nice. Anybody stand out for you this past week?
Probably the Wednesday, I'd say, for on the high school side, Stevie had a great race, and Noah ran really well. And junior high kids, both the junior high boys really stepped up. They've started to figure out a little bit more. I've kind of been pushing them, hey, get out of your comfort zone. It's going to hurt a little bit, and they looked a lot better. And both got their, I think, PRs from even 7th or 8th grade. And then Saturday, definitely probably Colin McKinney. Finally kind of opened up a little bit. I think it is a flat course, which helps him with his longer strides. And he, I think, just loosened up a little bit and had fun with the 300 runners. I mean, when you're always running by someone, it makes it a lot easier to focus on, hey, I'm about wanting to beat this guy, then this guy, then this guy. Rather, I'm out here in this middle of the woods by myself.
Yeah.
I want to slow down a little bit. Instead, he kind of kept that pace and ran well.
Nice. Who would you say throughout your program has made maybe the greatest strides development-wise from the beginning of the or off season to where we are now in the season?
Actually, talking to Dad as we were getting ready to come, you know, as we're trying to get some of the 2 junior high boys, their 8th graders, develop into being part of our high school team next year, because they're going to be a key part to making us a more successful team. We talked about how Raiden Boney was running 18 minutes for 2 miles, so that's 9-minute miles, which, you know, not great, and he knows that. And now he's running 20:30 was his time this past weekend. So he added only 2.5 minutes for over another mile.
That's amazing.
And so his mile time's down to 6:40 or 6:30. So I mean, he's knocked over 2.5 minutes in less than 2 years. He's definitely probably made the biggest strides from the when he first started running till now. And then this year's probably been Noah Van Dyke. He was a very raw runner, still is. He's still trying to understand how it works, when to push himself, and he even asked us on Wednesday, Coach, when did I start pushing? I'm like, really go out there, get a good first mile time, start to feel yourself. Once you start feeling fresh and you start kind of feeling, hey, I'm locked in a little bit, and just start taking off. When you feel good, go.
Yeah.
And so he's still trying to figure that out, but from where he started, he's definitely obviously grown a lot.
All right, Coach, and what are the points of emphasis for this week and going forward for the season?
I think the biggest thing is just being smarter when we run, and we're still trying to figure out how to, hey, that first mile can be pretty daunting. Guys go out super fast. This on Wednesday, Stevie's first mile time was a 5:22 and was in like 10th place. And that's a really fast pace to try to hold for 3 miles. And obviously his mile splits end up falling way back. And same with Raiden, kind of fell in that trap on Wednesday and didn't have as good as race because he died out. So, and then Saturday seemed a little bit better. So just find a way to run a little bit smarter. And hey, that first mile, I hang on there, get a good pace. And then I start to, I still run hard, but not as hard as I, can. Then my last 2 miles, I start to really work and start to pick people up and pass. And then to still learn to work together. And especially with my high school boys, on their end, trying to, hey, how can we keep pushing each other forward? And, you know, my time increases, then hopefully, you know, if Rayden's time increases, then it's Collin's going to, because Collin's goal is always to run right now with Rayden and kind of push him. And same with, obviously, Rayden's trying to push Noah right now. So if we keep kind of working together and push each other, it's only going to help increase and raise the bar.
Excellent. Well, good luck this week, Coach. We'll check in with you next week on Coach Speak. For over 50 years, locally owned C&J Tax and Financial Services in Nelsonville has been serving the community with hometown care.
We are locally owned. Our focus is on service, and we treat you like family.
Has your provider network changed? Are you new to Medicare? Have questions? We have answers. Remember, our meeting together is free of charge. The insurance company pays me, not you.
Give David Loge a call today, 753-3376.